Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer! Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things.
All right, welcome back to Boring Reviews. Nick here.
Jodi there.
And we are here for another reaction for Trevor Noah, but a different type of Trevor Noah reaction. Jodi, what are we checking out today?
BBC HardTalk. Trevor Noah interview.
HardTalk.
You know, we're getting deep down and dirty.
Get to the facts. No messing around. And so this was a request. Thank you so much for the request. We always appreciate it. That's how we run on this channel. If you have a request for a video, go ahead and put that in the comment section below. And more than likely, we're going to check it out, right? We're going to be recording a video later on today from a request that came in like years ago. So it might take some time, but eventually we're going to get to it. Fun fact, I just saw Wakanda Forever a few days ago in the theater, and I didn't notice him in there, but I saw on IMDb the next day that he was in that movie.
Oh.
So I'm excited to watch it again and see if I can point him out. If you've seen the movie and you know exactly what character he plays, I know I can look it up, but I'd rather interact with you. Go ahead and comment that below as well. Really, really help us out. Help me out for that random fact. But we ready to check this out?
Let's do it.
As we do, if there's anything that you like about our reaction to this, please don't forget to
Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're aware of our next uploaded videos.
Absolutely. I just rolled my eyes and I have no idea why.
Because I was talking and you hate me.
Absolutely not. Here we schmizzle.
Racial observations have very much formed, at least in the early stages, the backbone of your stand-up comedy career. Do you now regret some of the jokes you made? Let me give you an example. You said, my mother, black South African, was saying, get me a white guy, get me a white guy. Well, my father was white Swiss. Of course, he liked chocolate.
That sounds funny to me, even when you say it. That sounded really funny. Why would I regret that?
Why would you regret that? Because some people say that's not really very funny.
But the people laugh. Everyone can say something is not really funny. This is the way some people don't
But
like
is it
Indian
more than that?
food.
Okay, let me give you an example. We have a very well-established black comedian in Britain called Lenny Henry.
Yes.
And he has said that he regrets doing that kind of joke where he said he would wipe his sweating brow and say, I'm leaking chocolate.
But that's different.
Well, it's not. It's using chocolate, isn't it?
But that is different.
Well,
the Swiss love chocolates is not a term that is
But you're referring to your mother's
pejorative.
skin colour as chocolate. What he
Yes,
says...
because my mom is proud to be dark, beautiful chocolate.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying.
Well.
And this is, in the book, I talk about this as well. I go, I saw people and race as chocolate.
I wouldn't use that.
I'm
that colour, and I wouldn't say that.
Listen, when I grew up, I believed that all people were chocolates.
She's coming out
My
for
mom was
sure.
dark chocolates, my dad was white chocolates, and I was milk chocolates. So I see all
So you
people
see that as funny, but do you not
as
realise
I
that
did
some
read that
people
in
might
his
not
book.
like that? And Lenny Henry went on to say
I don't
that
think
joke
she
about
likes
how
it.
he was
No,
making
absolutely
chocolate. He
does not
says, I
like
knew
it.
there had to be a better way of trying to put the message over, putting your jokes over without having to pick on people because of their colour or because of their race.
Yes, but
His view is different from yours.
because he's Lenny Henry and I'm Trevor Noah.
Yeah, but he's black.
Yes, but he was talking about leaking chocolate, implying that his skin color was not something that belonged to him. That is a different
It's not,
joke.
he's
That is a
just trying
different
to say
idea.
that his skin colour is chocolate.
No.
You're splitting hairs here.
No, but that is exactly what we should be doing. Because what you're doing is creating...
I'm not sure I
You're
would.
creating
I'm not
racial
sure
jokes.
I would say
No, you're
what
creating
you said.
monoliths.
This
You're
is
creating
crazy.
monoliths of jokes, and that's not fair to do.
I'm feeling uncomfortable
Every
with
single
this
joke
contention.
has a context. Every single joke comes from a place. The most important thing with comedy is context. Without context, no conversation is complete. Without context, no communication can
But
truly
somebody
be
could
appreciated.
take that out of context.
Yeah,
and
you've
so
said
I'm putting
No
it
doubt.
to you then. Are you not, given what Lenny Henry said, are you not guilty perhaps with some of your routines or a joke like that, reinforcing prejudices and promoting stereotypes in the minds of people who may be inclined to think like that, and then they'll think, oh, Trevor Noah says his mother's chocolate, I'm going to go around saying that to my black friends, and they might take offence. You could be reinforcing prejudice.
You could be doing anything if you are not doing the opposites. How your action is implied does not define what you were doing.
Okay, let's look at another aspect of race. You moved just a few years ago
She just
to
wants him to
the
agree with
United
her.
States.
Yeah.
Your routine as a comedian, often mimicked Africans and also African Americans. And about African Americans, you have said this: you are not African, but we play along. It's a very loose term, African American, because half the time you use it for people who aren't even African. As long as you're black, they say African American.
I didn't deliver it like that. You're not doing my jokes justice.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'm not Trevor Noah and I'm not a comedian.
No, but you see,
satirist.
but no,
I'm
no,
just
no.
asking, are they not African American?
Here's what you're missing. What you're doing right now is the equivalent of me saying, now it's raining more than ever. I'll be here with you forever. You can always be my friend, standing under my umbrella. Ella, 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 A, Ella, 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 A. I seem like a mad person right now because I'm not doing everything that was within the context of the song Umbrella by Rihanna. When you were doing comedy merely by words, I spoke it. My eyes, my voice, my connection with an audience is completely different. People can see when you are being playful. People can see when you are saying
So you're
something
being playful about
that you don't believe. That is what satire is, though.
Fine.
You're poking holes.
So you're
So in that.
you don't believe what you say.
No. What you're leaving out in that whole joke is what I was talking about was how in America, Anglo-Saxons had successfully removed Americanisms from minorities. So every single group in America had an identity attached to the Americanness except white Americans. So it's African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, Latin American, Native
Well,
American.
you don't know. You have
and
Irish
yet,
American,
no,
they're
no, no,
white,
no,
you have
no, no,
Polish
no, no,
American.
no,
We
but
don't say
that
Irish
didn't become on a box, and this is a joke for Americans. Understand that. So as an American, they understand this.
All right,
On the boxes, there is no Irish American. There is only
fine,
white.
but not looking
But there
at-
is African American,
Yep.
and there is
So
Asian
true.
American.
But you know,
And there, do you get what I'm
all
saying?
right,
So,
I do
so
get
that's
what you're
the whole
saying,
point
but the
of the
point
joke.
I'm trying to make is that there was a shift amongst the black American community to start calling themselves African American. They didn't want a
Yes.
definition by default, i.e. you were not white, so therefore you were black.
Yes.
They wanted to have a hyphenated identity that linked them with the continent of their ancestors. And therefore, when you say, oh, they're not really African, they're playing along, you cannot disconnect what you say from this debate that's really, captured the imagination of the African American, Black American
Yes.
community. And also, the point I want to make to you is when you say that, it now feeds into a debate that's current in the United States. For example, Kwame Kwei-Armah, the Black Britain theatre director in the United States, says he has conversations with African Americans now who are saying, we want to go back to being called Black American because we don't have anything in common with this recently arrived African Americans, be they Somalis, Nigerians, South Africans, such as you, they have different language and so on. So what you say feeds into that debate, and it sounds like you're saying there is a difference between African Americans and Black Americans.
There definitely is a difference.
Right.
But these are differences that can be celebrated or used to separate people. Noting differences does not implicitly make it a bad thing. When you are noticing differences, you can note them for good reasons. It's the same reason we notice different colors or we notice different flowers. That can be a good thing. If you're using it to celebrate, you can use that same thing the same way apartheid did to separate people. When you talk about African Americans, the one conversation that I was talking about was I was traveling America and I was going to a lot of universities, and I came to realize in many universities in America, the conversation you're having right now, they had an African American student body. And very quickly they noticed a shift, because they could not lump black people into a monolith. They could not lump, because there were people from the Caribbean who said, we are not African American. There were people from Africa who were like, these are not our views. We are Africans in America.
So
there
that's
is a difference.
interesting, yeah.
And so what people themselves
we hear
did
that
was
all
they
the
said,
time.
you can't
Yep.
just lump us into this group.
Fine. And does that difference mean that it doesn't act as a cohesive form? Because I'm thinking in 2014, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, the celebrated Nigerian author, she said that when she visited the US, she felt that her African-American classmate was annoyed with her because she didn't share their anger. And she said that she was not burdened herself by America's terrible racial history. That difference, does it result in the African Americans who've arrived recently in the United States, such as yourself, acting differently or having a different psyche from the Black Americans who are the descendants of slaves and have lived for many, many years, obviously, in the US?
Well, I will say this. I will be careful to not comment on the experience of every single person, because I'm only myself and I can only experience the people that are around me. What I do know is this. In terms of our racial histories, South Africa and America are very similar. When I talk to a Black American person, there are many stories that we share as human beings. There are many oppressions that we have experienced through our selective, oppressors. I think those are the things that many people can relate to across the board.
So there's more to unite, even though you say there are differences.
There is definitely more to unite, especially when you are being oppressed as a group. Because you must remember, when you are in the US as a Black African man, I can tell you now that if you have an encounter with the police, they are not going to split the hairs.
They're not going to say, "Excuse me, Trevor,
about.
No, are you from South Africa
Yes,
or are you from Detroit?"
That doesn't happen.
No,
that
right.
doesn't.
So, this is one thing I want to say about this, and there's more in this interview. It's a full-length interview, and we're just going to react to that one part, that one video that's here on YouTube. We've got a lot of comments through the years, really, about, you should do the whole, when you react to it, you should pause it, talk about it, and then unpause it and play it so you're not interrupting the video. And I've been thinking a lot about that, and this was a video I wish that we had that set up. I know how to do it. There are some challenges with it, so I got to play around so I can overcome those challenges. I never really looked into it too much. We tried it a few times, didn't really work out too well. But I wish we could have here, because there was so much I wanted to say, but I didn't want to miss the next part of the interview that I didn't say. So just saying, for those that have made those requests, we're trying to find a way to do that, because in situations like this, it would have been very, very helpful. First thing I want to say, and you brought it up, I don't know this woman whatsoever, this interviewer. I don't even know her name. I'm sure she's a fantastic interviewer, whatever. The thing I did not like about this, and I'm not just because we've listened to so much of her, no, I'm not trying to take his side or be biased. The thing I don't like about her approach is what I don't like in any kind of debate. I love to debate with anybody. She knows this. I love to do it if it's in a civil way, and if it's with someone that has a little bit of knowledge, so we can go back and forth. And it's almost like a game, like, okay, not just how much more do I know about you, but can we get each other to kind of get some common ground? I really enjoy it. I really, really do. The problem with this is when he was answering her question, and I was really impressed that he was able to keep his emotions, because he was being, and I get what she's doing. I 100% get what she's doing, and I kind of appreciate that she's coming out. We were joking about the hard talk, like, oh yeah, the hard facts. Some interviewers, they throw softballs. She was coming right at him, and I think you're right. I think she had a little bit of an agenda. She was a little fired up. She was emotional, but I appreciate how he was able to keep his cool, because you can tell he kind of shifted to, like, I don't feel comfortable, but I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to finish the interview. He could have easily said, nope, that's it. I'm done. Good luck posting this. The thing that I did not like was when he was answering the questions, she would cut him off as soon as he had a point. Because every single time he had a reason for his answer, he could have easily folded, like probably I would have done, oh yeah, you're right, I should have done, I'm really, really sorry. I don't like being in trouble. So I can see myself doing that. He was like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Why would I regret that joke? This is the reason why. And right when he would get to that interesting part, she cut him off and went, well, hear about this. How about this? That's what I can't stand in a aggressive conversation like this, where let the person speak, let them give their point, and you have to at least have an open mind that maybe he's not an evil person. Maybe he's not this monster or this person that's influencing racism around the world. That was my biggest frustration watching that. I'm curious. I don't think I'm the only one in that opinion, but it doesn't really matter. That's what I was thinking about.
For me, I'm the exact opposite of you. I don't like to debate. I don't like to, I do not like any type of conflict. Like, I just want us all to be happy. And so,
and I don't like conflict
and
either,
I'm not
but I
saying
like
you
the
do,
conversation.
But you like that, and
Yeah.
I don't. So to me, as soon as it started and you could feel that tension, I was like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. I'm done. Like, let's end this. And if I were Trevor Noah, I would have been that, I'm so sorry. If this is how the interview is going to be, then, like, I'm going to leave.
Bye.
Because, because my thing is like, you could tell that he was getting, and he was very calm about it, but he was getting defensive, but because she just kept attacking. And again, good reporters need to do that. You need to try to get an answer. You know, you need to try to do that. And so I understand that. But I do feel like she saw things her way, and she wanted him to answer it her way and be like, oh yeah, you're right, that was wrong to me. where I feel like the best is to be like, this is what I think, this is what I think. And sometimes you agree to disagree and be like, that's cool. You know, I don't necessarily agree with you, but I get it. But he had a good point when he said, but I've been in America and this is what they think.
Yeah, I've had
And
experiences.
He's right and I don't know anything about her, but maybe she has an experience, because he was very much on that.
Yeah.
I have heard so many times, because it's always gone back and forth in America of, do you say African American? Do you say black? Like, what do you say? Not to like offend. And it's always back and forth, because, but it always comes back to the fact that people are like, but we're from South America, and you know, or we're from Caribbean, or we're from the West Indies, or we're from the Dominican Republic. We're from these places. We are not from Africa, so we are not African American.
Right.
And he is very right on the fact that we have Asian American, we have Pacific Islander, we have African American, we have all these American, but it's just white. It's just white or Caucasian.
Yeah.
There is no Irish American. I'm not sure if she saw that on there, but it is. I have never once in all my years of being
I think
here
she's
seen that on the
saying that
form.
maybe some people have been referred to that way, but I've never heard that in real life. I've never heard that talking to someone. And you make a great point, because when it comes to that white thing, right? Me personally, I have ancestors from Scotland, Germany, you know, all Anglo, that kind of stuff, right? But I would never think about going around being called Scotland American, Scottish American, German American, or anything like that. It wouldn't make sense. And as someone who is not black, I don't want to offend someone that is. And so if someone would refer to be called African American or black or black American, I have no problem saying that, but it's confusing sometimes to know when you don't have that chance to say, hi, my name's Nick, how would you like to be referred? Because that'd be very weird. You're just not really too sure. So it's interesting that she brings that up. And like you said, he's right. Here in America, it's a little different. Now, you have 300+ million people, right? So different opinions about it.
And the thing is she's saying that there's all these conversations and debates about it. But the thing is that there's been those debates about it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
That's always in America. And I think we're always going to have those debates, because everybody has different viewpoints.
Yeah.
So he's not really feeding into anything, and he has every right to have a certain view on it and to make his jokes on a certain view. And I have watched comedians where I have not found it funny. And you guys as an audience have realized, oh, she didn't find that funny. So it's okay for her as a reporter to not find his jokes funny. But just accept that there's a different humor for everybody, because there are some things that I'm like, this is not funny, and the audience is like, this is hilarious. So there's different comedians for everybody. Personally, not my style of an interview. I don't like the contention. I'd rather, I don't mind the deep, hard like questions and having them answer, but I want it to be more of like an open, any answers kind of okay kind of a thing. But that's just me. But I do respect the hard talk.
Why we're not reporters.
Seriously, I do respect the labeling it the hard talk, because I feel like this was a hard talk, and I feel like if you're into this, like, this is your jam.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that's tough about I don't mind the interview. I think it's entertaining for me, but I would not want to be him in that seat, because now he's a big name, right? And he's does comedy shows around the world, not just in one or two places. And so you're going to make him look bad. It's going to mess up his rep if he's fumbling his words and, oh, you know, you're right, I'm such a bad person. He held his own. And so because Trevor Noah, like most comedians that I'm learning about, most comedians, if not all, are very intelligent people. You have to be able to pick up satire in any kind of situation and parody. Because he's a smart person, because he knows himself and knows who he is, he's able to handle this. But man alive, I thought he handled himself quite well. I do respect her for coming at him with the hard questions, but just my personal opinion, I'm not sure if we should put Trevor Noah at the top of the list for broadcasting more and more racism. I'm just saying. But with that being said, let us know what you think about our thoughts here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
Goodbye.